Fam. You know what? If you are here, you already know. Welcome back to Unapologetically D with your host, me, ABCD. And we about to get into some things today because, you know, we're getting towards the end of the year. And I said I wanted to do some fun stuff, but we're going to tie it into like just humans and people. And it is crazy when you see some of the things that people are willing to do, I mean, for another human being that might be like a master at whatever their craft is. I mean, fam, we about to talk about some things. So, this is going to be a good one. Because, you know, like, there's some people on this list that I've been giving the side eye to for a minute. I don't want to give too much away yet, though. So like I said, fam, welcome back to Unapologetically D, the podcast that, you know, it was like something I said, hey, I'm about to do this. And here I am. I want to make an impact. So you got real people with real voices. We're going to have real conversations. And the impact that we are going to have in 2026, baby, let me tell you. So, up until the end of the year, I just decided that I wanted to do some solo episodes, which will continue into 2026. This one and last week's are all about pop culture and some of the things that are intertwined under that umbrella. So, today, I thought it would be fun to talk about a few different individuals. Now, let me give you an idea on how I landed on this idea. Or let me give you like just an overview of how I landed on this idea, what got me to this point, what made me decide to talk about these things, and why I thought people would be interested. Well, there's a person that is very, very popular in this world and has been for quite some time now. I'm going to be the first person to say that I have not been a fan of this individual, but game recognized game. Because when an individual is as talented as this person and is able to put things in their mind down on paper, of course working alongside a team, because any great person realizes that you cannot do anything alone. Let me say that one more time. Any person that is a master at their craft realizes that you cannot do anything alone. You need to have a team. So, let's talk about this because it's going to be a ride, family. It's going to be a ride. So, we're back here on Unapologetically D, but you know what I forgot to say? First of all, thank you for being here with me. I think I might have said that in the beginning. But one thing that I know I did not say is that, I know one thing that I did not say, which is that you need to hit the subscribe button, which is above me. It's above me. Hit it. That way you can get notifications. You'll know what's going on, because I'm telling you right now, fam, we got some big things coming in 2026. And it's not like we aren't already doing big things. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button. I'll give you a moment. Hit it. And then you're part of the family. All right, so we're going to get into some things. Human interaction and the power that it holds. Now, I mentioned just a moment ago that there is an individual that is extremely popular at this time who is liked by many. I am just one that recognizes when somebody is a master at their craft and they elevate themselves, however which way they do it. So, human interaction, what does it drive? Influence. Lots of it. Chaos, loyalty, and power. Let's talk about that for a moment. Influence. One individual can influence millions. Chaos. Those people can become crazy over that one person or that group of people. Loyalty. The people that love this person, these things, this individual are going to be loyal and sometimes to a fault. And power. So, when you are interacting with other individuals or you are with these individuals at an event and the person that you are there to see is performing whatever it is they might be doing, whether it's running up and down a basketball court, football field, on a stage, dancing, singing, whatever it might be. Every single person in that area, in that space, is there for that one individual or those individuals to watch them. They pay money, lots of it sometimes, because people be having them deep pockets when it comes to it. And it is really quite interesting. So let's talk about it. Okay, so we've said human interaction drives influence, chaos, loyalty, and power. Okay, we've got that down. We understand that. Energy is exchanged before words. If you ever notice, regardless of whether or not a person has a huge personality or just, hum, whatever, just a small little one, there's energy that is exchanged when individuals come into the same room. They are in the same vicinity as one another. Even before they say two words to each other. People can be judgmental. They can be curious. They can be afraid. They can have anxiety. They can have all these different feelings and emotions. And people pick up on that. Now, whether or not you're a person that says, hey, this is something that I'm very good at. I always feel what other people are feeling. Or you're just a regular person and you're just like, you could tell if somebody is nervous. You could tell if somebody's scared. Or you could tell if somebody has a stank attitude. It's an energy that's given away. You can see that. And also, when you talk about how people are wired and how they are able to act when they are in a group setting, it is a pretty amazing thing to see how real quick that can change once pressure is applied. Some people rise when pressure is applied. Some people turn into I don't even know, run. You remember back in the day, not that long ago, when there was that thing, was a run. Run. Because some people turn into crazies. They just don't even, they are run. That's all I'm going to say is just run. So pressure, it can either create a diamond or it can create what was the name of that show? Jeremy, what was his name? Split, I think it was called, where he had all those different personalities. Not trying to make any light of that, but people sometimes, when they are under pressure, can turn into a completely different person right before your very eyes. And it is legitimately a different person. So let's talk about what sparked my interest in the human brain, how people are when it comes to what they perceive, what they see with individuals that are just one individual doing their craft or group of individuals doing their craft, whatever it might be. People that we pay money to go see in arenas, in concert venues, all that stuff, whatever it might be. Let's talk about what sparked my interest. I may have given a few hints and you may have picked it up by now. Okay, so before we get into all of the specifics, let me make sure I have this on so I can hear myself talking. Or before we get into the fun part, let me give you some very fascinating, interesting facts about the human brain. Number one, the brain processes emotion faster than logic. Emotional responses can occur in milliseconds. So that's why when somebody does something that be making you mad, in 2.2 seconds, you're like, before you even think it all the way through. Logical thinking is in the prefrontal cortex, and that kicks in after. So that's why people say, think before you speak, because the words be coming out of your mouth before you, and that's why people react first and explain later. So this is something that 100% is affected by some of these people that I'm going to talk about are affected by it. And I'm going to tell you as the reasons as to why I say that when I get to talking about them, because we're talking about 5 different individuals today. The brain is wired for survival, not calm. It's hard to stay calm. You be wanting to turn up right quick. Fight or flight or freeze is an automatic response. Calm thinking is a learned skill. So you basically have to learn how to stay calm, because your number one reaction is going to be the opposite of that. Under pressure, the brain typically is going to prioritize safety over sense. Prioritizing safety over sense. So if it don't make sense, your brain is not thinking about that. Your brain is thinking about, I need to keep myself safe. So that's what it's going to do. Stress, stress literally shuts down rational thinking. It shuts it down, fam. It shuts it down. Like, it is no joke. It's not like, you're going to be able to say, oh, you have to learn tools. All right. So high stress reduces activity in the decision-making center. Emotional centers take over. And that's why people say things like, I didn't mean to do this, or I didn't mean to do that. And there's more. I'll talk about the rest of them as we go through this episode. Again, remember, fam, it's right up there. Hit the subscribe button. Join the Unapologetically D family. And we're back with our regularly scheduled program. Okay, so coming right back, saying the human brain is fascinating and a little wild. So, the drum roll has been going for a minute. Let me tell you what sparked my interest in this whole thing. I mean, I've always been interested in the human brain, because sometimes there are some people out there that be doing some very questionable things. And I'm like, why? Like, really? Anyways, so I digress. So, let me first start off by saying this. Being a cycle instructor and always being a fan of music, I have liked all kinds of music. It doesn't matter. The only one that's kind of been a little tough for me to really get into is country, but there are some country music stars out there that, they're doing their thing. So I'm not even going to sit up here, and I respect, mad respect. When you have a marketing machine like Miss Taylor Swift, where everywhere you turn is something, some type of an element, just the human brain, regardless of whether or not you are a Swiftie or not, you are going to be curious when you see the success of what production has gone on or went on for 2 years, 150 some odd shows, I believe, over multiple continents. I was just a very curious individual to see what all it was that went into that. So, sister girl, we already had Disney Plus. I mean, it's not like I had to do anything crazy. So I went on ahead and first watched the concert, because my pockets are not that deep. And even if they were, I wasn't going to be going to one of those concerts. So first I watched the concert to see what all of the hype was about. Then I watched the first 2 parts of the documentary. And I have to say this. Girlfriend and her team, it's not like it's just like you're just going to a concert. It was like a full-on production that involved so many people and so many elements, and it was just a lot. So, seeing the people at these concerts and how and I'm talking about the people, the fans that were in the crowd, and how people were like lined up outside of the stadium, like on the hill, like back in Woodstock. Like just there loving each other and trading friendship bracelets and like not having a care in the world, dressed up in their Taylor Swift, the best costumes. Like that is actually like pretty amazing, to be honest with you, especially with the way the world is today. Damn. Marketing team, genius. Seeing the people behind the marketing, it's like, okay, they didn't skip, they didn't miss. They did not miss. watching the emotion behind all these people at the concerts, the people that were in the stadiums and people that wasn't in the stadiums. It didn't matter. They was just there. They all were there for the same reason. The loyalty to her and everything about her and the connection that these people feel. I'm going to tell you what it reminds me of now on a much smaller scale. These people go to these concerts and they think that they are going to be the one that gets that eye contact, which she said she had a lot of eye contact with people throughout all of her concerts, one-on-one eye contact, which it can change a person's life because they truly feel like, oh my goodness, she looked at me. She only looked at me. Back in the day when my dad used to take me and my sister to the Mariners games, because you know I am a Seattle girl through and through, Hawks, Sonics, Mariners, all of that. Ken Griffey, he was my boyfriend. He just didn't know. So every time that I went to the bathroom, because he was an outfielder, typically I think in the center field, every time I went to the bathroom, even though I didn't have to go, and came back and just stood by the railing a little bit longer and hoped that he would look up. And if there was ever a time that he did, Sister Girl was like, yes, he was looking at me. I know he was looking at me. And I had a big old smile on my face too. Yes, so similar. Taylor Swift, Swifties go into these concerts, get any kind of eye contact with her, they will lose their mind. I won't say I was losing my mind, but as a young girl, I was a very, very, Ken, like I say, he was my boyfriend. So, moving on, let's go into a deep dive. Here's the people that I have selected. We are going to start with Mr. Shaquille O'Neal, big boy himself. People are drawn to Shaquille O'Neal. People love him. He is a big man with a big heart, but a gentle giant. So I learned a little bit more about him from talking with my man about him, but also from listening to him, seeing him on TV, and watching him on a show that was about his life. And some of the things that he did was just his normal everyday life and the people around him that were his crew, his family, his circle. Let's talk about Mr. O'Neal, because this man right here, he made my list for many, many reasons. Okay, let's talk about the reasons as to why Mr. Shaquille O'Neal is on my list. Core energy that he holds, approachable, but he's a dominant individual. Humor as power. He uses his humor to disarm people, but he still holds the authority. He makes others feel safe without shrinking himself. So he's still going to be who he is, but he makes other people feel comfortable, which is a very good characteristic to have. High emotional intelligence. He maintains relevance long after his basketball career because people want him in rooms. They like him. They want to be in his presence. So the lesson that I would take from this and from him is that power does not have to intimidate to be effective. And that is Mr. Shaquille O'Neal. Coming in on the list as number 2, Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Core energy, consistency, and strategic warmth. Going a little bit more into him and who he is as an individual. Now, I've been watching The Rock since way back when he had the sideburns and wore just that little tidy little Speedo, black like, tidy whities, but black, back in the day on UFC. I mean, not UFC, but WWE. Yes, I did. So I've been a fan of The Rock well before he was an actor. He's always been consistent. He has a presence. He is very energetic. Positivity, not performance. He is, right? Shows up the same in private rooms, public spaces. I've seen him in some very touch your heart, make you cry, grab your tissues type of moments where he did things for individuals. His behavior matches his brand. He got multiple brands. But who he is is who he is. It matches. He builds trust by being predictable and reliable. Again, going back to the fact that he is consistent. And the lesson that I would take from The Rock is consistency builds trust faster than charisma. Because can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Gets anybody. But consistency, family, with my people's eyebrow, still is where it's at. But The Rock coming in at number 2 on my list. And fam, if you watched the last episode of Unapologetically D, which by the way, you're going to have to hit the subscribe button. It's up here. I put it up here. Hit it. Join the Unapologetically D fam, because over here we gets down. I said that I needed to give the queen shine bright like a diamond, shine bright like a diamond, Miss Rihanna, her props. So here we are. Number 3 on my list. Modern power. Core energy, quiet dominance. Boundaries, because she sets them. Oh, go back and watch another episode of Unapologetically D. Boundaries, set them. Set them. She does. Selective access. She makes sure, especially being a mom and a superstar, a businesswoman, all those things, a wife, she makes sure that access to her is selective. Let's talk about her a little bit more in detail. Power and absence. So when people don't see Rihanna, they be wondering what's going on with her. She's a beautiful woman. She got a family, you know. She's a businesswoman. She got things going on. So people are just like, is Rihanna going to put out more music? What's happening? Scarcity creates value. It does. It really does. Less of her is going to make people want more of her. She doesn't over-explain or over-engage. That is huge, especially being in the position that she is in and with the husband that she has. Firm boundaries without aggression. Confidence rooted in self-trust, not validation. Confidence rooted in self-trust, not validation. She don't need to validate herself. Rihanna already know. The human interaction lesson that I learned from her, you don't owe everyone access to your energy. Protect your energy, fam. It's yours. Y-O-U-R-S, capital. Capital Y-O-U-R-S. Your energy is your energy. So protect it with everything you got. With everything you got. You know? People that come into your circle that are supposed to be there are going to be on the same wavelength, the same headspace. Everybody is different. But you guys are going to be vibing. So you won't need to explain to anybody. They will just get it. So protect your energy. And that's what Miss Rihanna does. And that, my friends, is not the only reason, but is one of the reasons, one of the many reasons as to why she made my list. Besides the fact that she's beautiful and she is a boss, straight up. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk about 3 more facts before I get into my next person, because these next people are the controversial ones. All right. Number 4, the brain cannot tell the difference between real and perceived threats. Public embarrassment can trigger the same response as physical danger. Cameras, crowds, judgment equals survival mode, and the body reacts before the mind can catch up. The brain craves validation and belonging. Social acceptance activates reward centers. This is number 5. The brain craves validation and belonging. Social acceptance activates reward centers. Rejection activates pain centers. And attention, even negative, can feel better than being ignored. Reality TV. Isn't that funny? Because I'm going to talk about reality TV here in just a minute. And guess what? Don't throw no shade, because your girl like herself some reality TV. All different types of reality TV too. Okay, and number 6. Emotional regulation is a skill, not a personality trait. Some people are trained consciously or unconsciously. Others never learned it. And regulation can be strengthened like a muscle. Kind of like, when you learn how to set your boundaries, set them, and it becomes easier the more you do it. Same concept right there. All right, so let's talk about my next person. Number 4. Kanye, Yeezy, Kanizzle, whatever you want to call him. Core energy, unfiltered expression, but a creative genius. Let's dive a little bit deeper into Mr. Kanye. I mean, everybody knows he has 4 children with the beautiful Miss Kim Kardashian, but there's so much more to him. There was more to him well before. I feel like after he lost his mom, a lot of things changed. And I also believe that there might be some stuff that he maybe just still needs to deal with. So, communicate truth without emotional regulation, meaning he didn't feel like he needed to, regulate what was coming out of his mouth. Emotional intelligence, and I think I'll come back to that, but he basically just would say things again, going back to how words come out before your brain actually thinks about what it is. A lot of that happened with Mr. West. Authenticity without awareness creates isolation. Intent often differs from impact. Intent differs from impact. Brilliance magnified by emotional volatility. So if you're volatile, you could be brilliant. It's going to be magnified by your emotional volatility. The greatness is going to be clouded by the other things that you are giving. All right. So Mr. Kanye, my human interaction lesson that I learned from him is expression without regulation can fracture connection. So if you express yourself and you don't know how to regulate what you got going on, what you got coming out your mouth, and you're just saying it and you're not thinking about it, the connection that you might have made might not be a connection no more. Because people are going to be looking at you sideways saying, bruh, like, are you good? Yes, that will happen. 100%. Okay, we're going into 2 more facts about the brain. The brain uses patterns to save energy. It relies on habits, shortcuts, and familiar reaction. And that's why people continue to repeat the same toxic nonsense and over and over and over again. And they be looking at themselves in the mirror and scratching their heads and still doing the same thing. And it's toxic and staying in the same toxic relationship. Myself included in the past. Go back and watch a couple episodes. Change requires intentional effort. So if you don't want to be stuck in the same pattern that is garbage and whack and it makes you sick, you're going to have to be very intentional about wanting to change that. Silence, number 8, can be more powerful than speech. Very true. The brain fills in gaps when silence occurs. Silence increases curiosity, attention, and perceived authority, kind of like when people are gone. When I say Rihanna's gone for some time, people are wondering, like, what's going on with her? Is she going to put out some more music? Are her and ASAP about to have another baby? They don't know. Strategic silence equals confidence. You don't always got to be all up in everybody's face all the time. People are still going to want to, if what you're putting out and what you're doing is really what it needs to be, and those people are going to be there regardless. Again, this is that Rihanna energy. So, the brain uses patterns to save energy, and silence can be more powerful than speech. Let's move on to my last one. My last person on the list. Oh, but wait, there's a bonus. But let's talk about this one. This one is an interesting one. Elon Musk. Core energy. Intellectual dominance. Meaning, like, he's so super smart. He's, up here and everybody else is, like, not up there. Emotional detachment. His smartness is what it is. Is that really all that it is? Is that all that he is just a smart individual? Can he carry a conversation outside of those things? I don't know. I don't know the man personally. But from what I can see, I don't know, it looks a little bit awkward to me. Transactional communication style, what I've seen. Now, I don't know him, but what I have heard is that there might be like maybe some things on the spectrum. I don't know, allegedly. I don't know. I think I have to say that word, allegedly. So transactional communication style. Let's talk about a few more of those things. Treats interaction as functional, not relational. So it's not like he's relating to the person that he's talking to. It's something that he's just doing. Again, very transactional. Innovation focused, people awareness is inconsistent. So his awareness to the people that are around him or the surroundings, yeah, not really there. And then his power is amplified. Disconnect when unchecked. Power amplifies, disconnect when unchecked. So you're disconnected from all these people around you. You might have a lot of power, a lot of, but where is like your human connection? And he's just like a very interesting individual. And he's just an interesting individual. I mean, sometimes I'm curious on if he's like a human being, because he doesn't really even honestly look like that. I know I told you I was going to throw some shade. Damn. I told you I was going to throw some shade. We were not going to get through this list without me saying something. Let's talk about two more facts. So the human interaction lesson that I take away from Elon Musk is that intelligence does not replace emotional intelligence. And I have a long-standing history with emotional intelligence, going way back to a conversation that I had with a mentor of mine. We will not get into it, but yeah, just because you smart, that don't mean that you are emotionally intelligent. I'm just going to say it like that. So let's talk about the last two things before I get into my bonus person, because I really wanted to talk about her, but we're going to wait until I cover these last two things. So, there's actually three more things. That makes it even better. Silence can be more powerful than speech. Shut your mouth up. Zip it. Velcro. Zip it. It can be more powerful than needing to run your mouth. The brain fills in gaps when silence occurs. Silence increases curiosity, attention, and perceived authority. Strategic silence, confidence. Rihanna energy. We already did this one. There's only two more. Power amplifies what's already there. Power amplifies what's already there. Let me see if I can fix this light, because I'm looking like getting a little bit, need to have a light. The brain doesn't change under power. It becomes less inhibited. Power removes filters, not character. And number 10, the brain loves stories more than facts. The brain loves to be entertained, people. Love some entertainment. Stories activate emotion and memory. Facts alone are forgotten quickly. So I could sit up here and talk to you guys until the cows come home and tell you all these different facts about whatever it is. But if I do not give you a story or reasons as to why or a way to connect with me, then what in the hell am I even freaking doing it for? You're going to forget about it 5 seconds after you push stop. Maybe even not 5 seconds, because you're going to be on to the next, which is another part of the human brain. If you ever noticed how quickly people will scroll, they don't even watch 5 seconds. The human brain is so bored in 3 milliseconds that it will quickly move on to the next thing. And guess what? I've done a study in person with my man. I ask him to watch my reels. And guess what he will do? Watch it for 3 seconds and move on. If you pay attention to the analytics, if you're into that type of stuff, and you see how long people will watch what it is that you're putting out, don't let it make you feel defeated. That's just how humans are. So let's move on to my last final person before we talk about love and hip hop Miami. So fam, I know I said I was going to talk about my final person before I do this last fun part, which if you've been watching, if you've hit that subscribe button up there, or you're following me on any of my other socials, which I'll put that information below, then you would know that I said that this week I was going to give a review on Love and Hip Hop Miami. And it just so happens that it fit in perfectly with the theme for the episode today. So, Love and Hip Hop Miami, and to be quite honest with you, all the other Love and Hip Hops out there. Human behavior unfiltered, fam. Human behavior unfiltered. Reality TV is a pressure cooker. So these people, they're still living their normal, regular lives, but they're still behind cameras, right? They're behind cameras, like underneath microscopes. Fight or flight or freeze, like I said earlier. In the beginning, I will say, a lot more of it seemed like it was not produced. And then there was a period of time where I was like, what's happening right now? This doesn't even seem like really, for real? Like for real? Mm-hmm. I did. There's just a lot that goes into it. Okay, so my review on this last week, because I feel like now we're